Hello everyone, I'm Father Richard Burke. I'm a Passionist priest, part of the community of St. Anne's Passionist Monastery here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I'd like to give you a view of our beautiful basilica here in Scranton. It's St. Anne's Shrine Basilica, located at 1239 St. Anne Street. It's on the west side of the city, stands on top of the hill overlooking the center of the city in a very beautiful display of God's work. As we come from the street into the basilica, up the rather large front staircase, we come in and we look to the right and we see a prayer room. And the prayer room is a replica of the Pietà, Michelangelo's beautiful image of the sorrowful mother holding the dead body of her son Jesus. It's a very beautiful, quiet, peaceful place where people come in to spend a few moments in prayer, contemplating the passion of Jesus. If we look to the left, we see a beautiful statue of St. Anne overlooking everyone who comes in, guiding and directing them to her daughter and to her grandson, the Lord Jesus. So we enter the basilica under the watchful gaze of St. Anne and the Blessed Mother and the Lord Jesus himself. As we come into the basilica through the lobby doors, we run into, first of all, the baptismal pool. We here at St. Anne's, when we renovated the church in the mid-90s, installed a baptismal pool at the entrance of the church. The pool is available for baptism by immersion, which is a very beautiful and meaningful way of celebrating this initial sacrament that makes us one with the Lord Jesus. We've done that several times here at St. Anne's, and it's a very moving and beautiful celebration of the sacrament of baptism. We also have the infant baptismal font as well as the holy font at the entrance of the church. And we do that significantly because the sacrament of baptism is known as the doorway sacrament to the faith life. It's the entrance sacrament. And so its placement at the entrance of the basilica is symbolic of this opening up of the entire life of the church to those who are baptized and enter in and come to the Lord. As well, we have the Passionist stained glass window behind the baptismal pool as we look back. And that stained glass window has the Passionist sign, which reads, "The Passion of Jesus Christ," and our motto, "May the Passion of Jesus be always in our hearts." It is the essence of the sacrament of baptism, that we become one with the Lord Jesus in his dying and one with the Lord Jesus in his rising. It's what baptism does for us. It unites us to the Lord Jesus in that special way. And so that Passionist window there is there symbolic of what actually happens for us in the gift of baptism that we've received. As we come forward in the basilica, up the main aisle, we are conscious of the very beautiful stained glass clear story windows. These windows tell a story, and it is the story of creation and the story of redemption. They're very beautiful blue in the windows shines very brightly when the sun comes to us each day in the city. Now, we also pass by, as we come forward, the traditional Stations of the Cross, that very special prayer whereby we commemorate and pray about and meditate on the passion of the Lord Jesus. As we face forward and come forward down the main aisle again, we come up to the sanctuary of the basilica. The sanctuary is a rather unique custom creation that we put in place in the mid-90s, just prior to St. Anne's being declared a basilica. If we look and see the beautiful baldacchino that stands very gloriously over the altar of reservation the tabernacle where the Blessed Sacrament is kept, we are very conscious of its mighty prominence as we look. And so we needed to have something equally prominent for the altar of sacrifice. And so we created the terrazzo circle in the front of the sanctuary with the altar of sacrifice in the center, so that we might be able to highlight the altar of sacrifice when the Eucharist is being celebrated. And we do so not only with the largeness of the circle with the altar of sacrifice, but we do it by differentiating the terrazzo circle from the soft wooden flooring that is placed around the altar of reservation where the tabernacle is kept. We separate the spaces, showing the distinction between the place where the Eucharist is celebrated at the altar of sacrifice and the altar of reservation where the Blessed Sacrament is kept in our tabernacle. We also differentiate it by lighting. We can highlight one or the other depending on what's being celebrated at that particular time. We keep the altar of reservation available to people. They're welcome to come up and sit in the pews on either side to spend their quiet time with the Lord during the course of the day. Our church is a very devotional church, and the church doors are open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, every day, so that people can stop in and spend that quiet time, which they do. So we're very pleased to be able to provide that service for those who want to come and say their prayers in the presence of the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament. We also have at our altar of sacrifice to the right, we have the ambo, where the gospel is read and the preaching takes place. To the left, we have our presider's chair, where the celebrant of the Mass stands and sits during the course of the Eucharist. And then, of course, we have our tabernacle in the center. And we chose purposely to keep the tabernacle in the center of the apse of the basilica because we are a devotional church, and we do cherish the presence of the Lord in the Blessed Sacrament in a central way. Above the tabernacle is our beautiful crucifix, crucifix that depicts the sufferings and death of Jesus, and at the top and bottom and on either side are the symbols of the evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They are the ones that proclaim the passion of Jesus through their Gospels, and so their symbols are there with the crucifix itself. To the right of the sanctuary, we see a rather large red and gold umbrella-like object. It's called an umbrellino. It is the symbol of a basilica. The umbrellino gives us that symbol of connection with the Holy See, with the Vatican, and with our Holy Father. And over to the left is our papal bell. It's another symbol of the basilica. It's supposedly only rung if the Holy Father comes into the church itself. And so that bell stands there ready, waiting, hoping that one day, and you never know, our Holy Father will visit St. Anne's Basilica. Now, as we move from the sanctuary, we go over to the right, and we discover three important images of saints. In the center is the statue of St. Anne, a rather large image of her with her daughter, the Blessed Virgin Mary, as a young girl learning from her mother. St. Anne is the patroness of our basilica and patroness of our parish and our media ministry here at St. Anne's. She is the grandmother of the Lord Jesus, the mother of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And she happens to be also the patroness of coal miners, which was incidental to our coming together here in the coal mining district of Scranton. On the right of St. Anne is St. Gabriel of the Sorrowful Virgin Mary. St. Gabriel was a young Passionist. He was studying for the priesthood when he developed tuberculosis and died just before ordination. Almost immediately upon his death, people began praying to him. People claimed miracles were happening through his intercession, and so he became beatified and canonized rather quickly in the mid-1800s. And so he is one of our novena saints here at St. Anne's. To the right is a statue of St. Paul of the Cross. St. Paul of the Cross was born in 1693, died in 1775. He had a good long life, and he is the founder of the Passionist congregation. He was a great mystic in his day, and was a great preacher of the Passion. Did an awful lot of preaching, an awful lot of spiritual direction, both with people in person and through his letters. So he is, for us, a very central figure here at St. Anne's. Those three saints together form our perpetual novena, which takes place every Monday of the year. Every Monday of the year, several thousand people gather here to pray our novena prayers together. And of course, St. Anne is focused for us from July 17th to July 26th every summer, when we have the solemn novena to St. Anne, when we have with us several 15,000 people a day to pray to her for intercession. Now, if we go over to the far left side of the front of the basilica, we find our traditional image of the Blessed Mother. And we keep her present, as we do in most Catholic churches. And over in the back, we have St. Joseph, as most Catholics do. We also have a unique representation here in the basilica. It's one of two found in the world. It's an image of Pope John Paul II. It was created by an artist in Bout Studios in Kingston, Pennsylvania. There's one here in the basilica, and there's one at the Pope John Paul II Center down in the National Shrine in Washington, the only two places they're located. This little tour of our basilica was made for you so that you might get a little taste of how beautiful our basilica is and how much we want you to enjoy it. You know, if you ever have a chance, come and join us in person, and we'd be happy to give you a personal tour here at St. Anne's. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 in the morning till 8 at night. We're open on Saturdays and Sundays throughout the day. So you're most welcome, and we hope you enjoy our little visit to St. Anne's Shrine Basilica.